Alrighty, folks. Let's see if I can do this right. Hopefully, I turn the camera the right way. Alright, so we got a piece of paper here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a series. Not a series, but I mean, it's going to be a bunch of short clips here I'm going to have to put together in this little cell phone video. Hello. To demonstrate something and to make some points about all this flat Earth ideology. So I'm trying to keep my thoughts together in words. First off, here we have a flat piece of paper, right? It's a flat plane, like a plane of existence, right? Okay, we're going to measure this piece of paper because it's not exactly square. And a piece of paper like this is 8.5 inches wide, right? 8.5 by 11, so we're going to go 8.5 this way, right? Okay, 8.5 on the long way, and we're going to have to take that, and sorry for all the shaking and kind of moving around, but this is the only way I can put. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I mean, if I had the right graphics software and stuff, I could make a fancy little video to where I could show you this gridded video of a digital representation of a flat plane and how a flat plane can be curved into a circle or a globe, right? So this is just a kind of example how if I was creating a simulation in a computer, and just like all computer games and worlds, right? Sorry for out of focus shit, but all right, then it's on a flat plane. We live on a planet, right? The word itself originates from plane. It means plane, Greek or whatever. You know, you have to look that up yourself. I'm not going to go into that right now. But so I mean, we live on a plane of existence, in a realm, not on a planet, as in a rock floating through space. There is no space. There's no space and there's no time in the real world. And they're only in this construct that we're in is the space existence. Okay? And I'm going to show you clips of some videos that inspired this. First off, we're going to make a straight line along this ruler. I'm going to tear off this little end piece of paper to make this piece of paper and this flat plane a perfectly square flat plane. Alright? So, give me a second here. See what I can do. I might have to, let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm in the kitchen. And I'm rigging this up. Here's super video. Okay. So, we're going to draw a flat line. Straight line. So, we can fold this up. Our plane of existence here. This is our plane of existence. Alright. It's flat. Alright, just like if I was making a computer construct game, like the game I play a lot, it's called The Division. You have a complete construct of Manhattan created in detail, and it's created in a computer on a grid on a flat plane. Okay, but when you walk around the world, it's a 3D, totally encapsulated environment. So here, we have a flat plane. It's perfectly square. And if we take all four corners of this flat plane, right? Let me see if I can do this. It's kind of fucked up way to do shit, but hang with me, folks. So we take these four corners of this flat plane, right? And if I could perfectly curve this paper curvaturely, right? You can take the flat plane, take the four corners of the earth, and you put them together. Of course, see, this comes into a flat, like, tortilla shape because it's a piece of paper and it doesn't curvature. But basically, if this was perfectly round, right, this all come around and the four corners met, right, the four corners of the earth all come to one point. Say that point is a pole. And if I could bend this paper, this is a bad example. I wish I, had the software to show you how how a flat plane can then be taken and bent around into a curvature. But all this is aside, okay, really, this idea wasn't working out too well because I can't make the paper turn into a round balloon. But basically, if the paper would curve evenly around all its edges as I bent it up to meet itself, right? Instead of these edges coming hard, they would be soft edges. That is a bad example. Okay.
Alright, so I had to make this rudimentary little video with my cell phone, and things didn't turn out like I really wanted them to. With my paper example. Now, if that paper had been like a flat piece of webbing or net or cloth, then I could have curved it into a ball better. Surely you've seen people take a flat piece of flexible cloth and sew it into a ball, right? I mean, that's how hacky sacks are made, right? I mean, right? You can take a flat piece of material and you can curve it around. And to example this, I thought I'd go a little further because my paper example kind of sucked. But here's a graphic right here of, well, that won't do any good. My city. See, this is actually Copenhagen. Whatever. And like this smart city studio concepts and designs place contributing to fine-grained database of environmental information which we can all benefit, blah 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 blah. But basically we can do this on our computers. We can take a flat map and we can curvature that map, and if that map's big enough, like as big as the whole planet Earth, then you take that flat map and you make the corners meet. We have grid globe, right? This is nothing but a flat plane that has been taken and curved, right? If if I took a baseball and then a flat piece of material and wrapped it perfectly around that baseball, right? Again, with the hacky sack example, I mean, hacky sacks, they're material, they're sewn together, and then they're in our graphics, in our computer graphics, we can do this, okay? And it's no different than the simulation of the Earth, okay? This thing you think is a real material universe, which is nothing but electronic chemical signals being interpreted by your computer brain, right? And we can actually bend flat planes into all different kinds of shapes, not just globes. So, like, here's a globe grid. You can look this stuff up. Like I said, I don't have software to do this, okay? So I have to kind of show you an example. Here's a flat plane, okay? Running along this flat plane. Imagine if this flat plane here was animated, right? And I could animate this flat plane, and I could take it, and I could curve the edges around to meet each other to make a flat ball. This is where sacred geometry comes into everything, people. It's all about geometry. That they know the secret of that, see, and that's why you have your maps with your gridded Earth, because it's a grid on a plane of existence that in perceptive reality is curved into a ball, okay? And it is perceptive reality is the same as common reality. We have a common reality, a common ground that we all interact on. That's this simulation we call Earth, when in actuality we're all living in our own created realities, which are manipulated, transmuted, and transmitted, receiving through our DNA, okay? You are creating what you see as you go along. You observe what you see, and what you see can actually be different than somebody else what they see standing right next to you. A perfect example of this is the story I've used for a long time about, you have a car accident at an intersection. You have 5 different witnesses. The police go around, they interview all 5 different witnesses. They get a slightly different version of what actually happened because that person is giving the version that they had through their perception of it. Some of these details can be completely opposite and contradictory to each other. And it doesn't necessarily mean that one person is lying. That person is simply saying how they perceive the event to take place. Okay? And their world view. These words that they choose to use are important because they're very literal, actually. So I had to show you kind of a better example than the paper example of how you can take a flat grid and you can curvature that grid. Okay? And in a simulation, we do this all the time. Okay? That's how we create the models of the ball globe. Okay? Outer space and all that, that's the fiction part of it. There is no outer space. The Earth does not spin. It is not a spinning globe spinning through space. No. It's nothing more than a construct, people. Okay? And it's exampled right before your eyes in many places. Here we have the Mercator projection, the Robinson projection. Okay? It's all they've done and all the simulation does is take the curvatures of the flat plane and make the ends meet. That's why you have the poles, actually. That's where the ends meet. The 4 corners of the Earth. But, okay, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I hope you kind of get it, man. The grid Earth. Yes, the Earth is flat and it's round, people. Chew on that for a while. See if you can wrap your freaking head around that. And the only reason I know this is because I've seen it. I know we live in a simulation because of my crossroads experience, because of my spiritual journey and awakening and my soul quest, and I was shown things. One thing I have seen everything around me disappear and reappear, reanimate differently in the blink of an eye, literally. In the blink of an eye, the world around me changed. And I wasn't hallucinating because it didn't change back. It stayed the same. Okay, I could touch it, I could feel it. All my 5 senses that I think are real material senses, which are really nothing but signals being translated through a computer. Biological computer, as your brain. It's an interface, people. This whole thing, your body, okay. I'm getting a little off subject, so I'm gonna continue on. This is gonna be edited in, just to give you an idea of what I was trying to demonstrate with the piece of paper. Here we have, you can, if you don't know about this, everybody should know geometry. I mean, come on, even just basic geometry. You have many ways this can be done. Okay? And that's what you have here. Sure. It's just like any other simulation. Micro and macro, people. Micro and macro. So, alright. With that, I'm going to play the rest of this video for y'all that I made on my cell phone. I'm going to insert, because the sound didn't come through real good, so I'm going to insert the actual news clips into this video as videos so you can listen to them clearly and listen to what this freaking idiot psychological mind control puppet is implanting in the public's brains on mainstream fake news. If I had a program that I could write the graphics in, then I would, but I don't. But basically, we have here, first off, let's go to Jason A's clip.
Scientists aren't going to tell you this. I think that might be it. Right? So, I want you to listen to this lady who's a Harvard University gal talking about CERN to Charlie, whatever his face is. I forget his last name, but you'll recognize him. And he's interviewing her. And the first thing they start talking about at the beginning of this Jason A. film here is she's talking about how quantum physics has proven that basically anything that is not observed is not there. Okay? Reality only manifests itself. The material world only manifests as long as it's being observed. They know this. They understand this. The people at CERN, the top scientists in the world that are messing with reality, are the ones that will tell you exactly what reality is. And we have proven this with our science today in quantum physics. I want you to listen to this gal.
This sounds so... it's funny because extraordinary when we think about it, because it's the way the world is, so or might be. Is it really true that what we see is all that's there, or is it a case where we're just not physiologically designed to experience or see those dimensions, but we'll eventually find evidence of them? Is there something else out there? You're a scientist who explore these kind of things. The three spatial dimensions that we know about? Left, right, forward, backward, up, down, and time. I can understand space and I can understand time. Right. But I can't understand what might be next. Are we months, years away from understanding the next dimensions? That's a really great question. It turns out that there will be an accelerator. So an accelerator, particle accelerator, accelerates protons to enormously high energy. And there's going to be a new one that turns on. It turns on in 2007, but really will begin operation in 2008. It's called the Large Hadron Collider, the LHC. It's going to be an accelerator facility called CERN near Geneva. The world's largest atom smasher. That's challenged scientists, scholars, and it was hailed as one of the most significant scientific experiments in history.
All right, so you heard her say, talking about how is it true that only what we observe is real? Or is there other dimensions beyond this space that we know? Okay. And that's what this clip was obviously taken before CERN, a while back. And now we know CERN is operative, etc. That's really not what this is about. This is just pointing to you that even the scientists, the top scientists that works on these projects and stuff, they know the true nature of our quantum reality. That's why we have D-Wave quantum computers now. That's why they're bashing particles at CERN, okay, because they're trying to break through the wall of this simulation we live in. Because you do live in a simulation. The Earth is not. I've made a whole series on the real world. Anyway, let's go to this stupid clip, okay, that these government flat Earth channels, and that's what they are. They're either idiots or they're government plants, okay, for the flat Earth psyop. Now, and I'm sorry for the blurriness. I do not know why this thing will not focus. But we're going to watch this guy here. And I want you to listen closely to what he says, even though the idiot who made this video covered up with loud music and stuff. But this is on CBS this morning, again with the Charlie guys on that show. Good Morning America, all that crap. No different than fake news CNN. This is just fake news CBS. All right, I know this kind of crappy video, but this is driving me nuts because you got these idiots, the flat earthers, flatheads, I'll call them, the flatheads, okay, you got globe heads and flatheads. And again, I want to emphasize the Earth is, and I put a whole video series out on this, the Earth is not, here, The earth is not flat or round. Okay, people? It's a simulation. It's whatever you think it is. What you perceive it to be in your mind, that's what it's going to be. Because actually, outside your observation, you can never observe enough to confirm or confirm either way. You can't. You can only observe what you can observe, and the only thing that's real and existent at the time of your observation is what you're observing. This is proven fact, okay? Quantum physics. Study it. Learn it, because that's the real science. All right. Now to this idiot. Now, the flat earthers put this video out trying to say that this guy is subliminally telling, oh, they got to tell you, you know, all this bullshit about the devil's got to tell you what he's going to do. Actually, he don't. He don't have to tell you a freaking thing. These people don't have to tell you a freaking thing. They tell you stuff because it's a mind crime, okay? They're messing with your head, okay? And that's all this guy's doing. And obviously, all the pundits that are sitting around him are also in on the script, because none of them say anything about him inserting this phrase completely out of context. You'll see in the conversation that he'll insert the earth is flat in places that it doesn't even make sense, and he just keeps rolling right through it in his conversation because it's a subliminal power suggestion plant. He's planting in the minds of the idiots who aren't really listening to this show but watching it. And when they get done, they're not going to remember that he was talking about Zika and this and that. All they're going to remember is what stands out of place in their head, and that's when he says the earth is flat, right? And listen to how he says it and where he inserts the words. He's apparently done this many times. So-called Dr. Anus, or whatever his frickin' name is, Agus, right? So we're going to play this. And I don't care about the people who made this video, because these clips are news clips. They're not their clips anyway. So screw you if you think you got copyright or rights to this, or if you think I'm copying. It's not about all that. I don't care about your stupid crap. Okay? All you people just throwing news clips together, and the fake news clips, and then you taking it as real. And the stupid flat earthers talking about, oh, he's really trying to tell you that the earth is flat. No, he's really trying to fuck with your head in this psychological operation that we call flat earth, okay, which is just a cover for NASA lies. Ignore the bullshit. Let's get to the clips. Now listen to this stupid.
United States, and we now know that these mosquitoes can get the Zika virus very easily from biting somebody, and the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened, and then all of a sudden, people from Brazil went all over the world and virus very easily from biting somebody, and the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened. Mosquitoes are here in the United States, and we now know that these mosquitoes can get Zika virus very easily from biting somebody, and the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened, and then all of a sudden, people from Brazil went all over the world and virus very easily from biting somebody, and the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened. So I think when we all look at this, we have to learn from it. Zika will be the first of many viruses over the years because the world is flat. You know, yesterday they discovered the papers of the guy who discovered Zika.
All right, he said what? He said Zika will be around for years because the world is flat, and the guy that we discovered, the guy's papers that discovered Zika? What? Huh? How in the hell does Zika being around have anything to do with the world being flat? It doesn't. Okay, Zika's not going to be around widespread because the world is flat, and because we went to the Brazil Cup, and you understand this fucking nonsense this guy's saying.
Back out around the world with Zika contamination.
It's a public health nightmare. And so I think when we all look at this, we have to learn from it. Zika will be the first of many viruses over the years because the world is flat. You know, yesterday they discovered the papers of the guy who discovered Zika. This Jordanian couple in this story, they had 2 children with a mitochondrial defect, both of whom died at a young age.
Why was this performed in Mexico?
Well, because right now it's not necessarily legal in the United States. In the UK, they did pass a law allowing it to happen, although it hasn't happened. And in Mexico, you can do whatever you want in this regard. And it really goes to speak with these new technologies. The world is flat. There needs to be global governance so that we all do it right and we have the right outcome both for the children and the parents.
All right, thank you, Dr. David.
What?
This Jordanian couple in this story, they had 2 children with a mitochondrial defect, both of whom died at a young age.
Why was this performed in Mexico?
Well, because right now it's not necessarily legal in the United States. In the UK, they did pass a law allowing it to happen, although it hasn't happened. And in Mexico, you can do whatever you want in this regard. And it really goes to speak with these new technologies. The world is flat. There needs to be global governance so that we all do it right and we have the right outcome both for the children and the parents.
All right, thank you, Dr. David Agus.
The world is flat. The world is flat. The world is flat. The world is flat.
Thank you, Dr. Anus. And here's how the stupid flat earthers misconstrue this. They are mocking a world that sounds asleep. Right? Because he's really trying to clue you in. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to let you know secretly. Alright, and the rest of the shit you've probably seen on other people's flat earth videos, etc. So, let's back up. Now, again, too, with these clips. With these clips, you gotta think about who knew that this guy was going to say these things in his script. Who collected all these clips? Who is it that's sitting here watching CBS This Morning every day, waiting for these clips? No, you had to know that these clips existed in order to go find them after they were broadcast and then throw them together like this. You don't just randomly find this stuff. You know what I mean? Somebody knew this stuff was going to be out there, and they organized this stuff into these clips. We're going to play it again because I want you to listen to the context of what he's saying and then how he inserts these phrases. And in one, he says, the earth, because the earth is flat and we need global governance, and if we do it right this time, or some, you know, he goes on to make comments that don't make sense. And then, of course, the pundits just say, well, thank you, Dr. So-and-so. It is so asinine, people. And if you're a flat earther, even if you think the earth is flat, believe the earth is flat, whatever, and you're trying to use this kind of crap as your evidence, you're a freaking idiot. Okay? I don't care what you think the earth is. It's a simulation. It can be flat or round, and it's both at the same time, and it's neither.
Very easily from biting somebody, and the world is flat, right? The World Cup happened.
Back out around the world with Zika contamination.
This lizard bitch.
And so I think when we all look at this, we have to learn from it. Zika will be the first of many viruses over the years because the world is flat. You know, yesterday,
Zika will be the first of many viruses over the years because the world is flat. Really? So it'll be the first viruses over many years because the world is flat. Where do they get these crazy people from? Because this dude is either Dr. Insane or it's a complete freaking scripted sham. Okay? And he's not sitting here trying to tell you flat earthers, hey guys, we know the world's flat. It's flat. No. They're putting this shit out there for sleepers. And the sleepers that have their TV on in the background while they're getting their kids ready for school and then whatever and getting ready for work and they're listening to this crap and they're blah, 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 Zika. All that Zika stuff will go right through one ear, out the other. But you know what will stick in their head? When he said the world is flat. Because it's the only thing that's out of context in the conversation. Okay? So later on, they'll be thinking, and all of a sudden that phrase will come in there, the world is flat. Right? Because it's a psychological game, people. It's psychological warfare. They're fucking with your heads. They're not actually trying to tell you, idiots, that the world is flat. All of a sudden you think CNN and CBS, the fake news, is going to all of a sudden tell you that the world is flat and you're going to believe them. You people have very selective freaking belief systems. You believe what you want to believe instead of what evidence shows you. And then you claim that evidence shows you this, that, and another thing as you misconstrue the evidence through your misguided perception. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm talking loud. I don't know how loud I'm talking compared to the speaker in this phone. But this insanity I had to make a comment and video about because it is so stupid. It's so asinine for people, and then people trying to pass this off as, oh yeah, he's really telling you the world is flat. No, he's not. Okay, they're not really telling you the truth, people. And actually, anybody with their right mind who's truly awake would see this on CBS Morning, see him say that shit out of context, and understand that it's psychological warfare. He's not actually trying to clue you into the truth of the world being flat. That is not why he's saying that on CBS this morning. And if you think that, then you're just a freaking idiot. Period. And I don't know, whoever you are, Rob Skiba, Patricia, fucking whatever your face is, and any of you other freaking idiots. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to believe the world is flat, you can believe whatever you want. That's the beauty of this creation that God created. And let me emphasize to you one more time how this works, okay? You live in your own personal reality. Your reality is your own. It is custom tailored to you, okay? Throughout your life, you'll run across paths and incidences and things that are custom tailored to your journey, your experience, to push you along your way to your spiritual evolution. Okay, and that's the only thing that evolves. There's no such thing as physical evolution. Okay, it can't be. Everything is run by a program. You're in a simulation. Okay, it's God's simulation. When you wake up, okay, after you go through this ordeal, which is a much needed ordeal because humans need experience to have knowledge. That is the true meaning of Gnostic. Knowledge gained through experience, not knowledge gained through a fucking YouTube video or knowledge gained through a book or because somebody else told me so. Personal experience is the only thing you people know. And I'm still working on my video about this. That's going to be, I talked about in my last video. It's called titled, You Don't Know What You Don't Know. And it's going to deal with a lot of this stuff about knowing. And we're going to explain a few things about the real world to you again. Okay, but in the meantime, I don't know what to tell you if you're falling for this shit.
A couple in this story, they had 2 children with the mitochondrial defect, both of whom died at a young age.
Why was this performed in Mexico?
Well, because right now it's not necessarily legal in the United States. In the UK, they did pass a law allowing it to happen, although it hasn't happened. And in Mexico, you can do whatever you want in this regard. And it really goes to speak, with these new technologies, the world is flat. There needs to be global governance so that we all do it right and we have the right outcome both for the children and the parents.
All right, thank you, Dr. David Angus.
All right, so play that back in your mind a few times. What he just said there, if you can hear it through their stupid music that they overlay. Terrible video on top of that as far as trying to make it and trying to talk you into saying, oh, and then I see people underneath the comment section, Oh, yeah, they got to tell you what they're doing. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I don't know who fucking created that lie. But believe me, trust me, from a voice who's been on the dark side. No, they don't have to do any of that. There's no contract. There's no deal that says Satan has to tell you what he's going to do to you. No. It's called social engineering, people. It's called a mind con. That's what it's called. Thanks for watching. Flatheads.